For the last year, I've really had trouble sleeping. If you knew me before, I could put my head on a pillow and wake up the next morning. Didn't matter how much noise was on the street, what was happening, I would just wake up the next day. But now, I can hear the paws of my cats as they come up the staircase. I can hear a bird chirping outside our window. I can even hear a spider in the corner of our room making a web. And when that happens, I wake up and I go downstairs, and for the next hour, I do everything I can to find a way to get back upstairs and finish my sleep. Maybe some milk, maybe some TV, maybe some reading, but eventually I do get back up there. But for this last year, I've realized that there's something not altogether right with Jess, as you probably already know. And I have my finger on it, but it's become a journey as I'm trying to understand what is going on in here and in here. And I think people would say maybe it's time to go see a psychiatrist. But if I went to see a psychiatrist, they'd tell me what was wrong with me, and I really don't want to know. I think I'd like to figure that out on my own. But if I were to visit a psychiatrist, I think she would say something like this: Jess, I don't think you're depressed, even though I would be if I were in your shoes. I don't think you're depressed, but I think your problem is you're an onion. What? I'm an onion? What do you mean I'm an onion? Because I wear a white shirt and I have white hair, does that make me an onion, doctor? Doctor? How did you know I'm an onion? Because that's what I am. I am an onion. And let me explain. It happened to me maybe a couple months ago. I was at McDonald's drinking my cup of coffee, and it'll be obvious and clear to you when I say it. I was looking, plastered on the wall, it said, 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, cheese, pickles, and onion. And I knew at that moment that onion was me. And here's why. Because when you get a hamburger, what happens? You say, hold the onion. And if they give you a hamburger with an onion, what do? You take it out and you discard it in the bag. And that's kind of how I'm feeling right now inside. I'm feeling like an onion that has no value or purpose and is just being discarded to the side. I mean, if you were to really look carefully at an onion, I mean, in this form, it really doesn't have any purpose, does it? You couldn't really take a bite of it. But if you wanted to use it properly, you would slice it and maybe put it on a hamburger, or you dice it and make some hamburger helper. But to start with this onion, you have to start peeling away at the skin. And it's really this milky, transparent, really worthless, has no value at all. What do we do with that? We just throw it in the compost. And I'm feeling more and more like my life is an onion, where every year my life's just being peeled away and discarded. And you know, if you peel enough skin away, there's no more onion. There's no more Jess. And so I'm struggling with that. By maybe some divine providence, I happen to be in Barnes & Noble with my wife. And she was shopping, and I decided that I would go to the self-help section. And I was looking and looking. I said, maybe there's something here that could help me a little bit figure out where I'm going. And on the shelf, there was a book, and it's called 4,000 Weeks, Time Management for Mortals, Oliver Burkeman. I said, that's it. I know what he's going to say. 4,000 weeks. I know that means how long I'm going to be on this earth. My time here is finite, and he's talking about maybe how to time management my life as a mortal. I quickly rummaged through the book, and what I saw or came up were three things that really touched me, made sense to me. And the first one, it says, it's okay to be bored. What's that mean? You don't have to be on social media all the time. You don't have to do errands and work late and just be busy all the time. There's some time you should have for yourself, like I do sometimes with coffee. And it is pretty boring being by myself. But I think you could also call that meditation as well. The second thing it said is stay on the bus. And what that means is keep with your routines. The routines I love is coming to Toastmasters and seeing all of you. I love being in my Rotary. I'm also part of a scholarship foundation, a board, and we just have so much fun and controversy together. And it really makes my day, including taking my dog Mocha for a run twice a day. It really plants my feet on this earth, really provides some structure in my life so I don't get too carried away thinking about my problems. And the third point I found very interesting. It said, give your body a rest. And my gosh, how true. For the last 10 years, I would say I slept 5 to 6 hours a day. And now I go to bed often at 7 o'clock at night. 8 o'clock is sort of my limit. I have that 1 hour interlude in the night, but then wake up at 5. So that's usually 8 or 9 hours. Middle of the day now, I take a nap. That's 1 to 2 hours. And then just before dinner, to my wife's consternation, I take a half hour, an hour nap. So I'm doing about 11, 12 hours a day.
Oh, no.
And on weekends, 12 to 14. I'm serious. And if I have it my way, my goal is to reach 24 hours a day. Because my body needs rest. Now, there's one thing that I wish the book had said, and maybe it's in there because I was skimming through it, and that is, I think it's so important that we love each other. We spend time with our friends and family. I think we need to listen, because I'm not the only one with a problem. Everyone has a problem. And I think that's also part of going through like this troubled time. I want to tell you that my mom, and I think this is part of what's going on in my head, I brought her down from Lincoln, Nebraska after my dad died, put her in a retirement home. The day she arrived, COVID hit, and I couldn't see her. I couldn't touch her hand, and I know she wanted to touch my hands, and she wanted to talk. She was hard of hearing, and she really wasn't good with a cell phone. So I understand how difficult it is to be alone, and it's so important to be around people. Mr. Onion, I'm not too worried. I know I'm going through this troubled time. I know as an onion, I'm probably in that pantry right now, in a very dark place. But when I'm going to open that door someday, a nice new green shoot is going to come out from the center.
Oh.